Okay, so I want to ask you, Zach, a question. And the question is, what do you think is the single biggest avenue that crypto is going to grow? And I'm talking now about from a macro standpoint. How does and I know I just threw you under the bus. You're like, you didn't know that question was coming, but how do you envision, what do you think are some of the steps and some of the things that has to happen for crypto to go from, 1 trillion market cap now to back to 2.8, where we were back in the day, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trillion? What's your stance there?
I think first and foremost, crypto will grow with or without people on board, right? I mean, slowly but surely, it is being adopted more. And we saw that in the last bull run. But I mean, I think what you're really asking is like, what's that thing that's going to take us over the edge and to get people in their 40s and 50s to look at it? And I think it's regulation.
Okay.
Because I think once regulation comes, the narrative around in the media changes, right? Because now it's not looked at as this big bad stepchild over here, right? It's another asset class that's regulated, that's understood, that's here to stay, that's innovative, that's changing our lives in this way and that way and this way. The problem is it's doing all that right now, but those narratives aren't being put out to the masses, right? I mean, imagine if people on, the CNBCs or the Fox businesses and all these newscasts, imagine if they actually broke down how crucial and how important what XRP is doing and how much better it is than the Swift payment system that we've been using for decades.
As an
Imagine if they
example. Yeah.
as an
Yeah.
example, imagine if they actually broke that down and said, okay, this is how much better it is, and this is why it suits a global economy so much better than our old archaic system does.
Right.
That could help right there, right?
Right.
Why is Bitcoin so different? Well, they're not printing, Bitcoins and Bitcoins and Bitcoins. There's a finite supply, which, supply and demand shows us. Imagine if they went through these narratives that we know in crypto.
Well, hold on. So let's stop there. You said regulation, which I agree with, but let's also dig into that. What does that really mean? You're talking about regulation has to come down from on high to make crypto, air quotes, coming by the look safer or more legitimate, which I don't agree with, but we both know where that's coming from. And fundamentally, to me, regulation, and you know where I'm going with this, regulation unlocks the ability for who to be able to then go out and help grow. It's the insert. You go from there. I know you know where to take that.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if how many people have, huge portfolios out there, right? That are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, right? Imagine
with Schwab and Fidelity and that's really what I was trying to get at, right? So go ahead.
Yeah, the big dogs. Imagine if you can invest in Bitcoin right through your Charles Schwab account.
Exactly.
Right through your Fidelity account.
Yeah.
And there's some ETFs out there and all that, but why invest in a Bitcoin ETF? Just invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I mean, like this, what is it? I don't even know what the ticker symbol is, like Bitto or whatever. And like, that's how people get exposure because it's less risky. It's like you're investing in Bitcoin without investing in Bitcoin. Just invest in Bitcoin. But then there's a learning curve on how to do that. Where should I have it on centralized exchange? Should I have it on a ledger? Where should I put it? Is it something physical? Like, what is it? Right. Yep. If it's an ETF, they're like, oh, it just sits on my Charles Schwab account. It's easy.
But that's what it really will play out. So I think to kind of land this plane, it's regulation, but regulation will again legitimize, right? And I hate that I have to do the air quotes because we all know it's legitimate, but it will legitimize it, but it will also open the door to institutional money. That's fundamentally, I think, what will bring crypto to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trillion plus. Go ahead.
To your point, I mean, legitimize it. You're right. I mean, but I think even taking a step back before that, recognize it.
Recognize it, and then proactively, those money managers at Fidelity will proactively go to their clients and say, and you have said this a million times about, hey, why don't you do 1%? Add to that. So expand on that.
Okay, so most investment portfolio managers or whatever you want to call them, they'll say, okay, well, judging on your age and what your job is coming in, the money coming in, you should allocate maybe like 10%, go a little more risky here.
Yeah.
People, what do they do with that? They go into Apple, they go into, risky tech stocks. Like, just include Bitcoin in that risky tech stock category, include Ethereum, right? There you go. I mean,
Right.
there you go. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's what we already do. It's what most people already do that are in crypto. I mean,
Yeah.
you make the argument we're probably a little heavily weighted in crypto, but that makes sense considering, we're in it every single day.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.